I-V-M.
Hey everybody, we'd like to welcome a new sponsor, Storytel. Storytel is an audiobook streaming services for mobile and tablets. If you haven't heard audiobooks before and you're a podcast listener, audiobooks are probably right up your alley. You can enjoy your favorite titles when you travel, exercise, or cook. There are great books over here, like the Percy Jackson series is available if you want like some new fantasy, or if you want to go for something old school or classic. You can get either Bram Stoker's Dracula, or you could get Edgar Rice Burroughs' John Carter series. Download Storytel today from the app or Play Store and enjoy a free 14-day trial. That's Storytel, S-T-O-R-Y-T-E-L. Storytel from the App Store or Play Store. Download today.
You're listening to Keeping It Queer with Navin Narona.
Hello and welcome to Keeping It Queer. My name is Navin Narona. I'm the host of the show. And on this show, we talk everything queer in our lives. And joining me today is Savio Mascarenhas. Hi, Savio.
Hi, Navin.
Savio is the founder of Color Positive, a beautiful initiative that we'll talk about later. He's also a out and proud gay man. He asked me to be very clear about this. So any of his office colleagues who want to ask him, they can just listen to this podcast and now get all the answers. So tell me, Savio, tell me about your early life or your most recent life.
Yeah, I know. Early makes me look old.
No, you're very young. Yeah. Start.
So, I am born and brought up in Mumbai.
Okay.
Now Mumbai. And
Do you really like hold back when you say Bombay like that? Or like...
I love to say Bombay.
Yeah, Bombay, right? That's what you...
There are many times I say it and I'm like, I can remember that it is called Bombay also.
It gives it a sweet, like, nice feel that Bombay used to have before it was Mumbai.
In fact, every time I talk about Calcutta, I say, Calcutta is so much like Bombay. I never say Mumbai, but that's what it is.
So you're born in Bombay?
Yes, I was born when it was Bombay and not Mumbai. And so it was... I live in a joint family. So being in a joint family has its own pros and cons.
So like with your grandparents and uncles and aunties? Or?
Yes, and their children, all of us. We were like a gang of 20 people in the house.
So how big was this house?
It still is. It's, I think, about 14 rooms.
Oh, nice.
I don't know how you call them rooms or whatever, but there are like 4 bedrooms and
it's
all
like
of that.
One central
Not
house?
4 bedrooms more. Yeah,
like,
it's a huge cottage.
Oh, nice.
That kind of place.
It still is there?
Still is, yeah. But it's gotten smaller with more people getting married and all.
Correct. So then?
So yeah, this is how it was.
A lot of people around in general.
A lot of people.
Cousins.
So cousins, then friends from like neighbors and everybody. So there was a huge crowd always. And it was nice. But there was nothing called privacy,
I understand, man.
I still don't understand the meaning of privacy most of the time when people say, why did he walk into my room without even asking me? I'm like, okay, I don't have a room for myself. So that's the kind of thing it is. But it's nice. And so it taught me a lot about how to be nice to people.
Because you have no other option sometimes.
Yes, you don't have any option. And so it makes you feel very good that, you can manage to live in Mumbai without any trouble. So that. And I've just done my schooling till HSC. I never bothered to pursue it further. I did, but never really worked out. And,
but I don't think really, even though I got a degree, I never really used that anyway. It's more in terms of like how you manage your life.
Manage your life, correct. And it's not a good thing that you should do, but I turned out to... I just did my HSC and I realized that, I want to pursue further studies, but I also want to get a job. So I did that, and then, studies just went to hell.
So I think if I ever have kids in the future, I would always leave that option open to them that, after 10th or 12th, decide for yourself if you want to like build on life skills or you want to pursue studies further. It's their choice.
It's a good
eventually.
idea to do that, but I'm not sure. You've done your degree, so you wouldn't be able to tell
but
what
I'm not
you'd
using
feel.
it in any way right now.
No, I mean, for me, when I look at any jobs or anything where I went, where they required some people, like how do you have those stupid jokes, they talk about they want a guy who's got 20 years of experience from a guy who's 15-year-old, something like that. So they look for people who are graduates and people who have a degree for even basic jobs. And then you feel like, I don't qualify, So you just chuck that out. So that is not something you'd want your children to face, I think. But otherwise, I've never regretted. I have, but now I don't anymore. I'm like,
Yeah, I think I'm already overestimating how talented my kids will be,
Exactly.
Maybe they'll get my genes, I don't know.
No, I think they'll be good anyway.
Cool. So moving on. So a lot of crowd in your family in general, a lot of people around, and then in the midst of it, you finish your education. And
Yes.
and when was the first time you really felt that maybe there's some kind of difference in me in terms of sexual orientation?
So this gets very, very weird. Because I never got to that phase where I could actually experience that, if I'm different or not. Because I was introduced to sex when I was 8.
Okay.
Because I was abused when I was a child. So I didn't know what I was doing, of course. Someone asked me later on in life as to, why don't you just get it? I mean, that man was doing something to you. Were you so stupid? I said, no, I was 8. You don't bring an apple and tell a guy that, okay, this doesn't have poison or it has poison. He'll just eat it anyway because it looks like an apple.
Yeah.
So that's what I simply said, that I didn't know what he was doing and I knew that this is happening to me. In fact, nothing weird was happening. He was just showing me himself and then getting me acquainted, and it progressed to a lot other stuff later. But this is what happened. And I've learned a lot about this person lately. I used to, not just one person, there were a group of people who were, doing that to children. And so it got weird and worse later on in life. But I hated the idea. So I'm just very, basically I started at 8. I mean, I didn't start at, they started at 8 on me. And it went on until I think I was 14. I never realized what's happening. And I thought this is how it's supposed to be. And they said, don't tell anyone. So I never told anyone. And that was my fault. But I really didn't know, because they said, if you tell anyone, they'll beat you up. So I said, okay, I don't want to tell it to anyone. So that's what happened. And
it's a scary thing, because you also, in a way, you also kind of suppress it in your memory. Not more like you're aware of it, but you also cushion it in some way. And that happens. A lot of people have spoken about how they have these callbacks in their life later on when this happened.
Right. There are some people who'd go out there and they'll simply, the moment someone does something like this, they'll snap or they'll make some sound. Like it did happen to someone else I know. And they reacted with a slap and ran away. I'm like, oh, okay, this is what something, someone would want to do.
It's an instinct that is different in people, right?
Yeah, and I wasn't that kind. I was the kind who would, sit quietly and wonder what's happening and get scared or whatever, So people react. Even now, sometimes I just go still, something happens and I just stand, I don't know what to do. So that's in me. That's how I was programmed, maybe.
Correct.
But that's what happened, and I just let it on. And so progressed from one guy to the second guy, and they were as I said, a group of people who were into all this. And later, when I was 14, you read something in the Bible and then you come to know you'll go to hell. So yeah, hell, as they say, broke loose, something like that happened. And I'm like, oh God, I'm going to die and go to hell, and this is not the place I want to be. And being a Christian, that's what happens, It's a very different
It's
world.
a guilt for a reason that you don't even have to be guilty for.
Or you don't even know if it is wrong or right. So it was nasty. It was terribly nasty. As I was telling you earlier, I was the kind of child who went to church and went to choir practices and sang in the church and stuff like that. And then you come to know that you've been going all the way there and praying, and then you're going to go to hell. Why? Because of something you've been doing which you didn't have any consent towards, But that's when things started to shape up. Basically went in a different direction than how it was going, in a good way. But then the guilt trip, the sad, the crying, everything happened. So it was terrible. From 14, life was terrible, basically. So I used to be sulking, crying, thinking what's happening, why is it happening? But I didn't have the guts to go and tell the person stop. I just didn't know why. And some people wonder why. And I thought about it later and I said, no child would say no to something they don't understand. At the same time, they will not go and say stop if it feels good, right? Whatever they're doing. And as I told you, they weren't doing everything, but whatever they were doing wasn't bad. And in a way, I was getting attention because, I was getting some sort of attention. My father used to drink and stuff, and there's a bit of a history there. And so the atmosphere at home wasn't like a normal one. You'd be afraid of your father if he walked in. You'd try to pretend to sleep so that he doesn't wake you up, and then there's no fight between your mother and him because of you, because that's what happened.
And all of this despite the fact that there are other families in the same house.
Despite the fact that it's a big house, every parent had their own like sections in the house.
Yeah.
So my father and my mother had like rooms for themselves and so on. So what happened in one part of the house, the other person would know until you go and tell, something like this is happening there.
Okay.
And I used to do that also. I used to walk into my uncle's room and say, can you come there? Please come, something like that. And then he would come and help out sometime. So it wasn't really a wonderful experience, even when it came to like parents and myself. I was basically the scapegoat over everything. Why did he move the chair? And then you have a fight, or why is he sleeping so early? And there was a fight. So he could pick on any reason and make it bad. I wouldn't blame him now also, but this is what used to happen.
The reality of it is that.
Yeah, and so when you have such situations, you don't bond with your parents because you're afraid, of course, of them, doing something or saying something. And this, on the other hand, another boy or a man coming and walking up to you and doing something or giving you any sort of attention actually at that time, just hugging you for God knows whatever reason he's up to. But the fact that he's giving you a hug felt like...
some sort of warmth over there.
Exactly. It felt good in those ways, not for any other reason. I hated doing most of it. But the fact that there was attention made it better.
Yeah.
And so when I was 14, I was like, oh, okay, attention like that is also not good according to the Bible. So I've been fucking up royally. So I started on with, reading the Bible and abstaining and trying to say no and still couldn't and stuff like that. Further moved on to, me actually putting a stop. But then I was 19 and there were a lot of good things that happened. One of the guys who was like constantly around, he went abroad. So like most of my job was done easy. And all of that.
Like the underlings fell apart in a way.
Exactly. And everybody, they just grew up or they got married and they knew where to go,
so
all those kind of things.
They were still like younger guys, not like too old, is what
They were about 6 to 7 years older to me. So when I was 8, they were like 14, 15 and getting there.
Okay.
So I told you about something that I just came to about one of them lately. This guy, who was the one who went abroad, told me lately that... he had that happen to him when his father's friends used to come home. And they did that to him. So one huge, I was literally sad that day. Because I was blaming a man who I thought was an asshole. Or maybe is, I don't know how to put it. But I did not see where he came from. And for me, to know that he went through the same thing gave me a clearer picture that it is not him who's the asshole. It's all the other guys.
It's a systemic problem that's been continuing for years.
And that made me feel so bad.
It's the same way how it is like with bullies, right? Like when kids bully other kids in school, it's mostly because they come from families where they are bullied by their parents or their other siblings.
Yeah, or they've seen other people get bullied and they want to be a part so that it looks cool,
so
I like, smoke kind of feeling.
We kind of portray that behavior and that kind of people latch onto that. And I was watching this documentary about the rampant pedophilia in the church as well. And most priests who are convicted at the end of whatever, called out for their actions, they are like, but this happened to us as well, we never said anything about it, so why are you questioning us now? And I'm like, is that a normal thing to say when like you see the problem, right? You were abused, so maybe you should have spoken out back then instead of growing up and becoming a priest and abusing a kid after that. So it's like it's been years and years of that. I spoke about this to my uncle who's a priest as well, and he's like, this is what the Catholic Church is really trying right now to there's like a PR disaster happening sort of, and they're trying to salvage the image and understand that this cannot go on for long. So it's kind of concerning that there is a sort of like a hierarchy even in abuse and bullying and sexual deviance sort of.
Exactly, it happens everywhere and it happens in closed doors, so you would never actually understand or even know it. And this, I saw the movie Spotlight. Have you seen it?
Exactly, yeah.
Oh God, for 4-5 days
I read the article way before
the
movie came out. I had read the article and I was like, this is some great journalism. So I was excited. I was one of those few people who knew the movie's coming maybe like a year from now.
I didn't want to see it. And my friend told me you should see it if you want, and it's about this.
It'll give you closure sort of.
No, he didn't think about it that way.
Okay.
But he said it's a movie that you may want to watch. It's about child sex abuse. So I said, I'm like, okay.
That's not the right way to describe the movie,
No,
actually.
we were very cool friends, so
Okay.
it didn't make a difference
Acha.
how he said it.
It's
I
about
knew
the
he knew
groundbreaking
everything about
journalism
it.
that broke that news, rather.
Yeah. So when I saw it,
Hmm.
my friend was continuously looking at me with one eye, knowing how I'm doing.
Hmm.
And I was shaken by the end of it. And it went on for a good long 4-5 days. Because you understand what others were going through.
Yeah.
You know, just like you think that this is only happening to me for almost most of your life. And then you see that it's something which has been happening as if it's like passed on from generations to generation.
And from continent to continent.
Yes, continent to continent. I'm almost everybody, right?
Yeah.
It's really sad.
There's some sort of like, again, as I said, sexual perversiveness or like some kind of deviance that happens on some level to everybody, but
Yeah.
it's in a way that we have been told to be okay with it, either by the
I
people who are
stop it. I've had people online or on websites or on apps and all that,
Yeah.
or even friends who talk to me up saying, "Oh, he's just 15 and he looks so cute, and I want to meet her." You just stop it right there. I make sure that I give them a good lecture and I
get
tell
your
them it's
bearings
not right
straight.
and it's
Yeah.
not legal. I mean, we're the ones who have to talk about legal and illegal here because we face 377 more than
Exactly.
anybody else.
Exactly.
And if we are going to do wrong by doing all this, you know, then why are they going to let us be?
Correct.
You know.
So then, as you said, like you went through all of this till you were 14, and then after that you went into this very depressive phase, sort of. So what took you to really like get out of that kind of, like that whole phase?
I think I got bored of depression.
Just
I think it's a good thing to happen to anyone. There are
Yeah.
many times I tell people like, "Oh, you're feeling sad. Okay, after a few minutes, after a few days, you'll feel angry, and then after a few days of that, you're going to be very, very, like, irritated with everyone. And then after some time, you'll be like, oh, what the hell what the fuck was I doing?
Yeah.
You end up getting over everything, right? I mean, this is Mumbai. Everybody gets
Exactly.
over everything.
Like,
here.
how long will you just wallow in your sorrows? Until
Exactly, and I
it's
always
not to say that
mention-
depression is not like doesn't take more deeper grip on some people, but if you can somehow, there's always a mental warfare. You try to come above it and then try to see the positive in life, sort of.
Exactly. So for me, I think when I was 19, I said this has to stop. And then those 2 years were like trying to discover what is going to happen, because I was already trying to stop being gay because of me
Bible.
reading the Bible and what I'm telling you, I was this religion. I still am, but I've kept myself away from the Bible and all that. But I have that conscience maybe. So, but now I understand it better than maybe when I was 19.
Correct.
So 19, and then I said, stop. We have to stop and abstain and don't do anything to yourself or to anybody or whatever.
It's like the Supreme song.
Yeah, like
Stop in the name of God. Okay, cool.
yeah. So there, and then it took me 2 years. When I was 21, I don't know, it was literally coming of age. So I said to myself that I'm gay because I really couldn't control it, and that's when it dawned on to me that I'm supposed to be this way. Until that time it was simply, this is wrong, this is right, battle it out, think about it, move on. But 21 was like, okay, fine, I'm going to hell and I'm supposed to just take it.
And hell sounds like a fun place now, doesn't it?
No, it still doesn't.
If it has some of your favorite superstars, then why wouldn't you be there?
Nah, I don't
Like
really
all
care
your
about that.
favorite singers.
Unless there's Shania Twain there and Madonna and Michael Jackson, I don't think
Madonna
is
is going there. Don't you worry about that. Michael
like
Jackson is
her.
already there.
I guess, maybe. Then I'll go there. I don't mind.
Yep. So on this note, let's take a small break and
Sure.
we'll come back and we'll talk about the Color Positive initiative and what it means to you in your life.
Sure.
We're keeping it queer and we'll take a small break.
Hi, I'm Amit Verma, the host of the weekly podcast The Seen and the Unseen. In my show, I examine the seen effects and the unintended consequences of public policy and private action. I show how policies meant to help the poor often end up hurting the poor. I've done episodes so far on demonetization, GST, surgical strikes, immigration and MRP. And I will continue my forensic assault on the truth in the weeks to come.
Catch the show every Monday on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app that you prefer. Or visit seenunseen.in for all the latest updates.
Okay, welcome back to Keeping It Queer. I'm here with Savio Mascarenhas from Color Positive. And where did Color Positive take birth?
Oh, so I always wanted to do something for the community. And since when QAM started doing the Pride and all, I would keep on thinking, should I or shouldn't I go for it? And then I started to go for the Pride walks, and it used to feel good. And there were a lot of activities even when it started.
Correct.
So my brother's DJ, so I told him, help me with your sound, or bring on some lights. And he used to do all that for the events, and he used to do it for free. I'm very proud about him doing it even now sometimes.
So nice.
Yeah, so he did that for me whenever I said it. We should go for this event, and it's for whatever reasons. And he wouldn't even ask me why. Why is it free? Just come along. And so he did a lot of events, almost every few years, or just gave a few lights, like some lights that you can use for any event.
Logistical support.
Yeah, logistical support. So it was nice. And I made sure I was there doing something. So every year this happened, and every year I wanted to help. But then there's this one year where happened, and the director approached me saying that we don't have a producer, would you like to be one? I said, I don't know what producer is supposed to do. He said, oh, you'll understand, it's not very difficult, whatever, you just come along. I say, okay, I'm not going to be the producer, but I'll come and help you. I know I can help you in many ways, so let me do that. So he said, okay, great. And then suddenly he says, oh, we'll make you the executive producer. I said, what does that happen? Like, what does it do? He said, oh, don't worry. I said, okay, fine. So that happened. And I did a very good job, And prior to that, for QAM, when this was happening, I was helping as well. So he understood that I could definitely help him in whatever way. So for GB, that's Gay Bombay, we were going to do a show in 2016, last year. And so he said, can you help me be the executive producer? And I said, yeah, sure. So I helped him with that, and it was, or they say it was one of the best that they've ever done. So he's done it about 4 times now, or 5, I'm not sure. Ours was the 3rd, and it was the best out of all of them he's ever had. So I'm very proud to say that I was the executive producer for it.
Nice.
And after it happened, or while it was happening, it was torture. Imagine you're having a job to do, and then you have this man calling you up and abusing the shit out of you just because he can. It made me feel
That's actually the biggest KRA of being a producer in any way, is to be ready for nothing and everything. And
I had no clue. I didn't even want to be that producer. I just said yes to help you out.
Now you have to listen to the abuses.
And then the blame. Oh, it is his fault. Savio did it. It's Savio's fault. So I didn't do anything.
It's like a Apple I agree document sign,
Whatever, Apple, Samsung, you call it whatever. But once I agreed to it, and it was like, it's my fault. And it wasn't even on paper. And I wasn't even getting paid, of course. But I took it all, and I made sure that the show happened. But while all that happened, there was one thing he said to me in a very, very rude tone. I remember my mother used to cook for about 20-25 of us, and I used to take the food there, because I used to be like, instead of ordering and spending about $4,000 and $5,000, let's make it, and I'll end up getting all that done at about $1,000. So I'll save money or cost for the production. This is what I thought. My mother was happy, and I was happy to help me, and I was happy to help her do it. So this is why it worked out. Our budget was very low, and I made sure that I kept under the budget. In fact, we had spare money by the end of the event. So it was that good. So while all that happened, and I'm helping him out, he said one thing very rudely to me. He said, you're only good at cooking, Savio. That's all you can do in life. And I was taken aback with his tone. I mean, that wasn't a hint at me. It was the fact that you're telling me that my mother and I are only good at this. It cornered me in a way. I mean, he didn't say it in such a nice way like I said it to you now, but he said it that way. And he said, you're only good at cooking. That's all you can do best. And when I look back now, the way I did it for him, the whole event, nobody had done it previously. Nobody's done it after, because it hasn't, of course, gone as well as it went then. So I've given him things, or I literally raised the bar for him by giving him a video recording of his event. I made sure that I had lights and proper paperwork designed so that he can actually make sure that what light goes where at what time, everything documented.
Correct.
I did it like maybe a professional would. I don't even know how a professional does it actually. But I went online on Google, I found everything and all of that. So I helped him out and it worked. It worked brilliantly. But this point that he made about me and my mother, that I am only good at cooking and giving it to people as if, like a hotel management guy. It took me some time to understand that, he's hurt me a bit too much. The play got over. About a month later, I had nobody around me to talk or whatever. I was feeling a bit low. And I said, I want to do something. So I got 3 other friends of mine. And I told them, you know what, I'm going to do the production because I can do it now that I know. And I'm going to ask you to direct. Another guy said he'll do the story. And the other one said, I'll do your PR. So I, of course, initiated that request and everybody decided to do it. We went for a meeting and then we went for a second meeting. And by the third one, they were like, oh, I can't come today. Something's happened. Oh, I have to go for a holiday in December, so I really can't make it. So we did this in October. The event happened in September. We started talking about this in October. And by the end of October, I knew none of the 2 out of the 3 were in. The 2 had just decided to walk away. And the one that remained, his name is Vinay Arote.
Oh, I know him, Vinay.
Yeah. So
he's a sweetheart.
For me, he just said, Savio, let's do it. They're not in, it's all right, we'll do it. I said, okay. He's saying, I'll do everything. You write the story and you direct and I'll produce. I said, fine, I'll do it that way. I don't mind. So then I tried to write a couple of stories and the first few were bad, of course. And we picked up on a story or a subject on HIV. So I wrote my story on that and then I got all my cast. Little by little, everybody came along. Finding a girl for my play was the biggest problem. Even if it was an LGBT, a lesbian girl, or if it was a straight girl, getting a girl to get that job, to play their part was difficult.
And you reached out to the cast members essentially from the community itself.
Yeah, I don't have a rule like that. Because if I want people to be, to accept me, then I need to accept people outside of my community as well. So I don't have that barrier that only LGBT are allowed, or if you can do the job and if you want to do it for free, because that's exactly what it is, then please come along and help us out. Correct. So that's what it was. And everybody who's in the team is very clear about these rules, basic ones. So I had a group of 25 people who were there, including cast and crew, who agreed to do it. So there was no space for us to rehearse. So my house was the rehearsal space. We did it on a Saturday, we did it on a Sunday, we did it any day.
Same big bungalow cottage.
Yeah. It's not a bungalow, it's a cottage, and there are not many big rooms left anymore.
Okay.
But actually they are, but like everybody in the house uses them. So there's this one room or 2 rooms which we know we can use. So we use that space all the time. I did my photo shoot in one of those rooms. I did my dance and my rehearsals in that room. Everything happens in these 2 rooms basically. Okay. So that happened. And so I got the cast in, everything happened. And then we performed for QAM on 25th of January in 2017. That was our first play. We, of course, didn't get a huge crowd because we were new and we had other events happening all around. So, but it was good enough, around 150 people, which they say is still a good number for a newbie.
Yeah, first time,
Yeah, so that happened. And we had a ticketed event, which I think took away most of the...
Where did this take place, the location?
This happened in Dadar Matunga Cultural Center, DMCC they call it, in Dadar.
And how big is this place?
It had about a 350-seater arrangement.
Okay. So at least halfway.
Yeah, it did close to halfway.
That's a great thing.
Yeah, and it was a ticketed event. So the fact that 150 showed up is a big deal because if it's free, then of course you'll end up filling the place.
Correct.
But this happened and it was nice. So the event did work out in a positive way. And when the play finished, it wasn't the end, right?
Okay.
So everything like clicks after some time for me. So then I have to stop worrying about when I'll do my next play and let me start doing things where I can do something now. So I started my YouTube channel on February, I think the 2nd. I went with my first video. Someone who became very famous after my play. Before also she was quite famous. But she got famous after my play was this person called Ritvik. He's a guy. His actual name is Praneeth Hatte. And he's the guy who was he dressed up as a drag and he performed on stage.
So you never end up finding the girl, did you?
We found my very close friend called Hyacinth Vaz, who was working with me in JP Morgan, said, I'm going to do this for you.
Nice.
And so there was this one girl, but she didn't have a partner. The girl who's supposed to be a partner just couldn't ever happen. And there were like 4 girls who were like saying yes, they came in, they did 2 rehearsals and backed out also. There were such people as well. So 4 to 5 people whom we got and none of them stayed. She then had a voice recording with Praneeth behaving like he's the girl and talking. Or he held the mic in one corner talking to her as if she's talking over the phone and all that. So we created a part like that so that we don't change the script. So we did that. And that's how the second girl didn't happen but still happened on stage. And Praneeth had a role.
There's a bit of trickery in doing that.
Yeah, but it was fun. We
nice.
eventually agreed, let's just do it this way. We don't want to change the script or compromise. Then Praneeth's role is of a drag, as I said. He actually is, he's supposed to be a transgender from the community in the play, and he's supposed to do social work. And then there's a lot of one-liners which were like really funny, which Harish Iyer actually helped me with, and he made it nice. So
And he had a role in the play?
Harish had a role. He was also in the ashram kind of thing, and he takes care of children, and he goes talking about 2 children who have been abused, like child sex kind of thing, child sex abuse kind of thing. That. So it was nice. So he had that part, and then Praneeth had this part where he played Ganga. So everybody knows Color Positive, and the next thing they know is Ganga. So that's how big it was. So I made her the host of my YouTube channel. So he would dress up as Ganga, and there were these funny little things, as at least we tried to talk about. So that happened it still happens, but very rarely now. But that happened for a long time. We would go in events and she would dress up as Ganga, and we would go into the Humsafar Trust event that happens, the Utsav, or we'd walk into Kashish actually. She'd dress up like that and go into a Kashish festival, and we would take some bites and stuff and put it on our page, or any pictures that come, we would make sure we had them.
I remember
up.
you captured Kashish as well, like you all took videos from there.
Yeah, we took videos, we took pictures, we did QAM also, the Pride Walk. We covered it quite, and we put it all up.
So the sketch that Nick and I did was also on your page, on your YouTube page, I guess.
Yes, I made sure I took a video of your Kashish event.
Despite the interference that happened. Remember what happened, right?
Yes, I remember.
Arjun Kapoor walked in the middle of our sketch and you were like, okay, pause.
One thing I liked about him is he actually said sorry.
Yeah, he
it's
apologized. That was the
sweet
cutest thing ever.
Yeah.
I'm not a great fan of his art, but the fact that he was humble enough to come towards us and remember our names also.
Exactly, that was really kind.
Yeah.
But I made sure I avoided that in the video, I think.
Yeah, it's cut out. It's very nicely done as well. Mine is I was glad that eventually somebody who knows Sridevi personally spoke to me. If Sridevi spoke to me, I'd go berserk, right?
Then you should ask Harish Iyer.
I should.
Yeah.
Baby steps. I'm not ready for this. I'll have a heart attack if I see Sridevi in real life. I'm really obsessed with her.
Wow.
I've watched Chalbaz 1,000 times. Not even kidding.
But so I'll tell you more about Sridevi later. So Ganga was doing all my, videos and stuff, and not everybody was free enough to do it. So she had the time, and he would come aboard dressing up, making sure he had new attire every time and all that jazz. So it was fun.
And for him, drag was a newfound love, or was it something?
No, he's actually done a movie which is called Wajood, not a short film. Wajood has been circling around all of the world, and his movies got some awards as well. He actually got nominated for the best newcomer
Okay.
in some UK film festival as well.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, he is doing
Like
very well
powerhouse
there.
talent in general.
Exactly, yeah. And he is very talented. I
Nice.
remember the first time I'm giving him the script, and within like 2 hours he's standing there, he's crying, he's doing everything. I'm like, oh my god. So there's like a lot of
Like a
down
diva has
and
been unleashed.
yeah, exactly. The script was like that. It was very up, then it goes down, and then again it comes up, and it really nice.
Like life itself.
Exactly. So that's the play. So that happened in January, and then the YouTube happened, and all these little events where we went to cover everything. And then we asked Gay Bombay if we can perform in October in their GB talent show that happens every year. This was their 4th. So this time I had to write a new script, and I already had something in mind. So we did the play called Gina.
Okay.
Okay, this was on the 25th of October. So 25th seems to be the date, I think. So 25th of October is when we did this play. This is about a genie, like a natural genie from the bottle kind of thing. And she arrives into this man's life. And she is a transgender genie, not a... Basically, I don't know if genies have a sex.
Yeah.
But I just made
They
her...
only made her sexually attractive back when like they wrote that show. I Dream About Genie.
Yeah. That was a wonderful show to watch.
It was a great show, yeah. But like
And-
a lot of like sexuality is basically like, she's a hot girl. So like that's why I'm going to like, that like latent sexism was happening in the TV shows back then as well.
I didn't understand. I was too young to
I
understand
know.
it.
But then
and
it's
I watched
written by
it.
my favorite writer of all time, Sidney Sheldon.
Oh.
So I anyways forgave him. He's written about like writing that show in his autobiography as well. So I, like,
Wow.
okay, I get it.
I have not read that, but I know he did it, and I know it rocked.
So
it was
your
awesome.
genie was
Yeah, she's a transgender genie, and so she's in her master is gay, and his boyfriend is going to get married.
Okay.
So, and she ends up breaking the marriage and eventually tries to bring them together, but you could say...
But he has 3 wishes to like basically get
No. This is like I Dream of Genie, Wali Genie.
Okay, like she has multiple...
Multiple wishes,
nice.
whatever. She's like there for life. And when this story happened, the fact that it was supposed to be funny was the important... I had to make it funny. Because my first play was on HIV, and you can't have funny happen with HIV because it's really funny that someone's laughing about having HIV.
Correct.
So this one was supposed to be very funny, and it was supposed to be very grand. So we got lots and lots of positive reviews after the play. We had like 3 standing ovations, and people going crazy about it. People writing on Facebook saying, you know what, you've just actually, you've raised people's expectations and all of that stuff. It's very wonderful the way you've done your play. So that happened in October. And now we're going to have another play. Actually, we're going to do a rerun of Gina in February. We wanted to do it so much when QAM was happening, but there are so many activities happening at that time, so it's difficult for anybody to find a venue or whatever. So we pushed it to February. Now, February 18th is the date, and it's going to happen in Sophia's College. So we booked it for now. We don't know how far we're going to go with it.
Nice.
And we're trying to raise funds so that we can actually book the venue. And one very important problem that anybody from the community usually faces is getting funds. So we are doing now on 16th of December, have a party. And that's a fundraiser we're going to do. I'm getting weird calls asking me, what does it include? How long will it go on? Do I get to stay? I say, where? Stay where? All that kind of questions.
On the dance floor.
Exactly. How long? Is it till 5 and 6? I said, no.
Go home to
But
your
it's not,
mommies.
exactly. And I've been saying it's a fundraiser, but people don't, of course, care about
They're
that.
not reading the deep part of it. There's like fundraiser. Oh, something's raising and that's fun.
Exactly.
And what's the raise? There's a D in between. It's just me being weird.
Yeah. So then that's happening on the 16th. We're planning to collect money that way. I also have a website which is managed by Round Glass. And, we've gotten together and they are actually putting up our fundraiser.
Okay.
Our crowdfunding is happening through them.
Nice.
And so we're collecting money that way. So that's one. Then these parties is another way to make money so that we can raise funds.
Last question I have for you is how important do you think plays like these play within the community in helping grasp attention and otherwise?
So when it comes to grasping attention, the fact that anybody is doing something like this is already a good sign. I was just chatting with one guy today who told me he stopped dancing on stage because he broke up with someone he loved.
Okay.
And then I told him life doesn't end and you have to come back to what you love, and you love being on stage, you enjoy the idea. Or if not, help someone else.
Exactly.
If you don't want to go on stage, help someone else be there. And it's not about being on stage that is important. It's about affecting the person who's on the other side. We never realize it, but imagine our whole lives, we've been watching YouTube and, Star Movies and Star Plus and all those 100 channels that Star created at one point.
Including Hotstar now.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a web streaming app now.
Yeah,
Star.
that it is, yes.
Yeah.
But there are so many things we watched on TV to learn. Everything we've learned in life came from that stupid box we call stupid.
Yeah.
But frankly, this is like you remember good things and you remember things that will teach you something, or taught you something already.
Correct.
So the fact that you're on stage is anyways helping someone. And then when you bring out people from the community and put them on stage, it's again another accomplishment. And we are not people who are performers. None of my team members are actually people who go on stage every day, besides like 2 of them. Everybody else, like me, have a job and we work very hard for getting that. Make time to get this.
Correct.
So there's already a lot of effort and a lot of, time that goes into doing all this. And besides all that, I mean, if we are educating someone in the form of a play, or because the basis of my HIV play was you don't have to kill yourself the moment you find you have HIV. Life does not end. And it talks further about how you can live with HIV and still have a life.
Correct.
That's the first play that I wrote. The second play that I've written is about marriages. It's not about being a genie or being a gay man. It's about marriages and how gay people are forced to get married in our Indian culture just so that they can all, fit in the society and ruin the life of that gay man and the life of that straight woman, you see. And of course the children and everyone. Because if you're not going to be happy internally, everything else falls apart in your life. Yeah. And you're not going to be a good father.
And
you're not going to be a good wife.
happening in general, like very obviously now.
Yeah, and I don't want to be someone who fucks around in my marriage. If I don't like my wife, I don't want to fuck around. So why should I have that wife? Nobody understands all these things. So the play is on those lines.
A reflection of that.
Yeah, it talks about that. So it's a very funny play, but this is the basis of what we want to actually put to the audience. So that way, we're trying to reach people in the form of plays. In YouTube, we always pick up on some basic subjects and we try to do something. We really stress on condoms. Most of my plays have something related to condoms because no matter what, some people just forget to wear them or they think it's not important or they think it's not the right kind of pleasure. And I'm like, go fuck yourself. You're going to die if you don't care about yourself. Yeah, it's really stupid that people neglect it. Yeah. So those kind of things. So we talk on those subjects and we try to make it fun, basically.
So great initiatives that you're doing, Savio. Thank you for talking to us, and I hope people reach out to you and help Color Positive grow in many more ways. If they can reach out logistically with money and anyway, how can they get in touch with you?
So we've got Facebook. So that's www.facebook.com/Color Positive. So color is COLOR.
Okay, not the U.
Not the U, because Vinay decided that there shouldn't be a U.
It should be Americanized.
He wanted it Americanized and it worked for me because what we've done with our logo is we've introduced the 6 colors of the LGBT flag. So COLOR and the positive become the symbol and it just works perfectly for me.
Nice.
So I didn't mind. And besides that, you can also go on our Instagram page with the same name, Color Positive. And we have a Twitter page with the same name. And YouTube with the same name. So everything. We're everywhere.
Branding is sorted. So
I made sure that we're everywhere.
Cool. For now, thank you, Savio, for talking to us. We'll move on to the next segment. And that's it. We're keeping it queer.
Thank you so much.
Don't go anywhere. The Keeping It Queer podcast will be back with the Culture Vulture segment featuring Farhad right after this break.
Every week comes a show where 3 people come together to tell you about stuff they like. A movie, a TV show, a book, and other stuff. Tune in every Monday on iTunes, Audio Boom, the IVM podcast app, to IVM Likes. Batman approves this message. Thank you, Batman.
Hello, welcome back to Keeping It Queer, and now we're doing the Culture Vulture segment on the show. Hi Farhad.
Hello.
How's it been? It's been a while.
That's my vulture voice.
It's more like a frog had sex with a centipede. I don't know what centipedes sound like. I'm sorry. I had to think of some insect very fast.
Oh
what
my
I came
God.
up with.
Yeah.
Do it again.
That's a parrot.
It's
I would
a
never
crow.
know. No, I would never know what a vulture sounds like because Parsis never hear the sound of a vulture because mostly
too far
they're
gone.
dead. They're mostly dead by the time they...
I've heard kites.
Kites?
Kites have a very high shriek. Like,
No.
it's become a bird noise episode now.
Can I, a kite saw me masturbate once, just putting it out there.
What?
Yeah, I was in Mahabaleshwar.
Like a bird just perched itself while you were masturbating.
I was on, at a friend's, oh shit. Why? What? We can't talk about drugs.
We can talk about anything.
Yeah. So I did some MDMA. And I don't know why my friend has this sprawling, lovely estate that's on the edge of a cliff. And I was all like, wow, lovely trees. I kept walking, and I ended up on this part of the cliff where I was absolutely isolated. There was a little rock jutting out. And me being me, the first thought I had was, I should masturbate here. Because, I like to mark my territory. You know, knowing that no one's ever in the history of time and civilization masturbated at this particular point. So I was jacking off, and literally it was a rock jutting out. If that rock broke, I would have died.
Yeah.
That's how much it was jutting out into this, and I was jacking off.
Cliffhanger.
And suddenly at my level, this bird was flying by.
Oh, nice.
And it slowed down time
Like,
in my
what
head.
the fuck is this human doing? Like,
Yeah, I just remember him looking, and I was just like jerking it, and I got straight into it. Oh my
nice,
God.
nice. Bird porn.
Bird porn, yeah.
Cool. So what do you have for us today?
What do I have for you today? I don't know. What? Are you going for Pride March?
I am.
Yeah?
Every year, without fail.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know how to pick up my costume though. Like, you know, every year I end up being like really extra
my
butch.
God.
And
Okay.
I need to like embrace my feminine
What's extra
side.
butch? What do you end up doing?
Just
Like
like
shaving the
I've-
sides of your head and...
No, that's like I wear leather boots with shorts and like a t-shirt because I feel I want to
Okay.
be comfortable. But then
Okay.
it's also nippy enough to like, you know, wear more clothes.
Oh,
Like,
you don't do something special, like dress up specially?
Yeah, if
or
like somebody
something.
has a rainbow flag, then I'll like, you know, walk with that. That's the
Okay,
max I have
okay,
done. I
okay.
want to be more, you know.
I will get a lot of hate
involved.
mail for this, but I'm one of those people who needs to be coaxed into going into a Pride.
Why?
I don't know. I just don't like the pace at which everyone walks. Like, if everyone's walking too fast or everyone's walking too slow, I feel to like, I don't know how to walk.
So I walk at my own pace. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of it. Like if you start at the very beginning of the Pride March,
Yeah.
then I end up at the end of it anyways. But I in the middle of it, I meet so many people. I dance with so many groups.
Yeah,
And you know,
yeah.
I just meet so many acquaintances in one way or the
Yeah.
other. It's a fun like trip all the way back.
Yeah.
And then like last year, the Pride was divided into two parts because there were so many people.
There were three.
Yeah,
I was
there were three
there.
parts.
Yeah.
So at one point, people just like start gathering around a juice wala, and then that guy got business. So good for him.
Yeah, I just kept following those hot London guys. You know who I'm talking about? There was some group that was down.
Yeah, from
Yeah,
the Pink Singers.
Pink Singers.
I saw them at concert as well
man,
last year.
They were beautiful.
Oof, don't even get me
Yeah,
started. Like,
yeah.
and I was totally like eyeballing this one daddy bear, and like while he was singing at the concert, okay, and like
Okay.
he was eyeballing me back as well. I'm like, if only
None of them eyeball me. I think I'm not the prettiest girl in the room anymore.
you are. Shut up.
Oh, thanks. Totally fished for that one.
Fishy. All right, so tell us something in pop culture that we should check out this week.
The movie Pride.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic.
It's a British movie.
For me, regardless of sexuality, if a movie is about a small town and
Yeah,
everybody in the small town comes together to do something, that's generally, that should be a genre of its own.
Yeah.
And I absolutely fucking
Exactly, like,
love.
you know, combining gay rights with coal miner rights.
Yeah,
and bring it together.
Absolutely. And a mutual hate for Margaret Thatcher. So-
Exactly. The gays hate her in general.
Yeah, they do.
But, you know, like, I remember Dolores Umbridge, the female who plays Dolores Umbridge in Harry Potter, and she's so good in that role as Umbridge because I hate her so much. But in this movie, she has such a soft and beautiful role. Like, adorable.
I don't know any character that was not adorable.
Yeah, they go
movie.
to a gay club and then they all have fun. So tell the listeners what the plot is overall.
You pretty much described it. The coal miners are hating on Margaret Thatcher, and they form allies with the local lesbian gay group to fight this cause, and pretty much.
And they're not even like local. Technically, they're like a village away from them, but because they've seen their plight, because they're out of work, the gays start collecting money for them because they're like, that's one way of helping out people who are also suffering under the same regime. Which is a great, it's a real story, by the way.
It's
actually happened in the 80s, and to think that two very disparate groups can come together and work towards making something happen.
Special mention, Bill Nye, not the science guy, but the actor,
the vampire looking guy.
And he is a vampire in the Underworld
in the Underworld series.
And I just love him, and I loved everyone and everything. It's been a while since I saw that movie, but it's definitely one of those once a year must check it out, feel good.
And it all culminates in a pride in the end, and by the end you feel very...
Yeah, because otherwise, do you think there are any other movies about pride? I can only think of Milk. And
there's Prayers for Bobby as well, in which the movie ends with a pride scene where the mother's
This
walking.
is the Sigourney Weaver one.
Yeah, and it's a heartbreaking, very powerful movie though, because
I couldn't stand it.
Why?
I don't know. I found it too sappy and
But it's again a real story about a Catholic family.
It is.
And,
it is.
And for all those who have not checked out Prayers for Bobby, please check it out. It's a book first and then it's a movie. And Sigourney Weaver's done a great job.
Yeah.
She's a powerful actress. Like she's again one more gay icon. I think I personally have aftershare.
Wait, what? Sigourney Weaver is gay?
No. My icon as as like I don't know. What do you call them? Like your divas,
got it.
Yeah.
Not gay, but sort of.
Like if there was a Snatch game right now, I would play Sigourney Weaver. That's how I describe it. So many cultural references. What?
Yeah.
Cool. So thank you so much for this recommendation, Farhad.
You're welcome.
And let's now go and indulge in debauchery. And see you all next week. This is me, Navin Narona, and Farhad.
Yeah.
Say bye.
Bye.
No more masturbating on cliffhangers, okay?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. And we'll see you next week. Thank you so much. This is Keeping It Queer. Bye.
There she stands, a podcast addict. Outside the bank, having travelled several miles to get in with other poor souls like her. The journey, though daunting for this youngling, will have some comfort because she has downloaded her favourite podcast. You can see more of her species on ivmpodcasts.com, your one-stop destination where you can check out the coolest Indian podcasts. Happy listening.